Hello StarCraft fans! This is Falcon Paladin coming to you with yet another weekly edition of MidRank Madness. This is a game between DragonKnight and Korvin on King Sejong Station, the latter edition. In the bottom right side of the map, we have the red Terran player. It is Korvin. And in the top left side of the map, we have the blue Zerg player. It is DragonKnight. From Drago8, the clan. I've never heard of them before, but apparently Drago8 is a clan. So a ZVT here for you guys. If you're not familiar with MidRank Madness, then here's how it works. If you have a gold, diamond, or platinum level replay that you feel is very amazing, interesting in some way, then go ahead and set it to falconpaladin@gmail.com with the subject of MidRank Madness. I'll go ahead and send those to my screeners. They'll take a look at the very best ones that are submitted for the last couple of weeks and then vote on the ones that are the best exemplification of MidRank Madness play, which is usually about solid play, right? I don't want tons of mistakes in here because that's what Into the Void is all about, the lower level stuff. But interesting strategies, Nidus Worms, proxy stuff, Sky Toss, Sky Terran, weird things we don't usually see that are interesting for my viewers. That's what we're looking for. Or just straight up solid play. If you want to show that somebody in Platinum can execute a really solid 2-base push as Terran, then go ahead and send me that as well. There are different things I'm looking for. But again, it has to be interesting in some way. It really just can't be a middle of the road. We both kind of messed around a little bit, and then I beat him with Mass Void Ray. Like, we're not going to roll with that. Anyway, here we are on King Sejong Station. The latter edition looks like a hatch first out of DragonKnight into an extractor into a pool, getting that gas, getting that delicious Vespene gas used in order to get spawning pool upgrades such as Metabolic Boost. And eventually Adrenal Glands, but that's not something that we see for a long time in the Zerg tech tree. Reaper is popping out here. Do I have my Reaper name list? I don't know that I do. I don't know that I do. We might have to skip Reaper name. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm sorry. It's on my phone, and my phone is charging right now. I didn't even think about it. It's been a long day. Let's just say that. It's been a long, long day. And when a long day involves 3 kids, whew, you know how that works. Or maybe you don't. You probably don't, actually. Alright, so here comes Korvin. Korvin's Reaper moving on out. We will name him Korvin, as that is what the name says below where he is. There are 2 queens on the way. How many lings are out right now? 4 lings. Okay, fantastic. Speed's about 30% complete. Moving right on in. Do not waste shots on that spawning pool. Go after the drones. KD8 charge. Bam! Does have some weakened drones here and gets a drone kill. One of them does make itself into what looks like a spore collar. 2 of them do that. The lings are here. The queens are here. Get out of there, Korvin. Run. Run, Korvin. Oh, what a play. What a play by Korvin. Gets in there. Weakens a bunch of drones. Does manage to kill one. Gets a nice scout off. Forces a couple drones to change themselves into spore collars. Cancel those. DragonKnight, you don't need them. Cancel. 1 cancels and he leaves 1. And these drones need to get back to work. DragonKnight, get back to work. Oh, thank goodness. Alright, so not the best response here from DragonKnight, but that's okay. That is okay. I mean, at a professional level, that might be the kiss of death. But at this level of MidRank Madness, I think you'll be just fine. Korvin is a little bit late on his expansion. He's just now making it inside his main base. Not going to lift it off anytime soon. A starport is already on the way. So this command center, not a priority for Korvin. Instead, looks like he's going for tank. Factory did throw down onto a tech lab and no Hellion production with Blue Flame and Marines and Widow Mines. So a very harass-specific opening build here from Korvin, going for the reactor on the tech, or on the starport rather. The reactor on the tech lab. That's something that's entirely possible. No, it's not. Korvin's Reaper's going to get surrounded by these lings. Get out of there, Korvin. Run. Didn't get out of there. Didn't get out of there. Didn't even kill any of these lings. All right, Korvin. All right, Korvin. Going to have to give you a non-passing grade for sure. That was just not excellent. Overlord scouting into Korvin's base. Does see the starport already. I'm not sure what else he saw there, but Engineering Bay coming up at the front of the natural base for Korvin has landed the command center in the natural, tossing down mules and upgrading that to an orbital command. Meanwhile, DragonKnight is getting a 3rd base in the traditional 3rd base spot here on King Sejong Station, the latter edition. Double evolution chamber, Baneling Nest coming out for our Zerg player. Lings and queens trying to knock down this debris. That's the back door to the natural base, because you know why? Because dropping tanks on the low ground over here is so difficult to deal with as Zerg if this debris is still here. So definitely going to try to knock that down. Not a lot of DPS with 4 lings and a queen. I mean, if you're super serious about it, I make a few more. Okay, so like 10 more lings. Okay, that seems fine. DragonKnight is making 10 more lings, speedlings, to be precise. Korvin's got to move out, man. I understand you're worried about aggression from the Zerg player, but you got to punish them. You have to get out there and force them to make units at the very least to deal with you, or else they're going to drone up and murder you in the mid game here. 35 workers at 29 already for DragonKnight. Did make 20 lings, or 10 lings rather, and now has a total of 14. Going to go ahead and knock down this debris fairly quickly. +1 is coming up for those lings, and which tells me we might be seeing ultras here a little bit later on in this replay. Engineering Bay is researching +1 attack out of a Korvin, and he's a little too passive here, Korvin. I hope you got something up your sleeve. It's getting stimmed. That Infernal Pre-Igniter is just about complete for the Hellions and the Hellbats. The backdoor debris is gone. Banelings have morphed in here inside the natural base for DragonKnight. And more drones on the way. 10 at a time. It's 45 to 35 workers. A nice 10 worker lead for DragonKnight right now. Marine drop over here at the third base. There are Marines going to town on that, but the Lings are showing up. They don't have upgrades yet, but I don't think it really matters. Banelings here as well to assist with that. Korvin very wisely picks up, boosts out, tries to decide what he's going to do next. He did lose a single Marine in that assault. Did they kill? I guess they killed a couple drones before they started in on the hatchery there. And yes, makes a decision. Medevac boosts into the main base here, dropping Marines. Going to go ahead and try to kill this Queen. The Queen is focusing down what? Not focusing down the Medevac. Maybe focusing down the Medevac. Ling's getting on top of these Marines. These Marines are not attack moving very well. Wow, and all of them get cleaned up. Solid defense here out of DragonKnight. Medevac forced to boost home empty-handed. He's going to take some shots from this Queen in the natural base, but fast enough to escape before the Queen can take her down. Meanwhile, factory, supply depot, armory, third base under construction for Korvin. So after neglecting that natural for quite some time, getting a pretty quick third base as well does seem to do him well. At the risk of repeating myself just a little bit there. +2 on the way with Evolution Chamber for DragonKnight for those Lings and those Ultras and those Banelings. Get those upgrades, and Aspire on the way too. So maybe like a Ling, Baneling, Muta mid-game into an Ultra play, but it's just hard if you go with a lot of Banelings and a lot of Mutas to have enough gas for a ton of Ultras when all is said and done at that tier 3. So I think we might just be going a pretty standard Ling Bling Muta out of DragonKnight. Really should get a Queen at this third base. I highly recommend having at least one Queen per base, and he does. He's got 3 Queens, but one of them is sitting here spreading creep from the natural to the third. And here come a Hellion push out of Korvin. It seems a little late for this. It's 7 minutes into the game. Professionals would be out there closer to 4 minutes or so. And I mean, Korvin had the Hellions. He just decided not to move out until just now. Does have Blue Flame, which is fantastic. Going to try to, wow, roast up those Lings very nicely. Even though they have the +1 attack, it's just the Blue Flame hits hard. Good kiting here right now. Going to lose a couple Hellions. But this is a lot of dead Lings as well. The Banelings trying to explode. Hellions getting trapped against the wall. 2 more trying to run for their lives. And they're, again, taking a lot of Lings with them. But dang, all those Hellions got cleaned up in the middle of the field by the Speedlings. 20 Lings died. 7 Hellions died. Resources lost. Definitely favoring the Terran a little bit here. About 900 for the Terran. About 1,200 lost for the Zerg. The Vikings are out for Korvin, knocking down the Overlord that was spying on his natural base for the last 5 minutes or so. And somebody said in the comments about a week ago, they said, hey, I just want to see Vikings out of Terran. Not many, 1 or 2, just to hunt down Overlords. And I think that's what Korvin is doing. I like that very much indeed. The Vikings not interested in landing at all just because their DPS is terrible when they're in landing mode. Hellions over here at the third base, roasting. Line up those drones. Get out of there, drones. Get out. A couple more roasty toasty moves. And no, not enough. Speedlings, too many of them. Too many, but it is 43 to 42 workers right now. 4 drones have been killed. Korvin macroing up very well indeed. 2 Queens stabbing at the Vikings that are flying past the natural base. They're not doing very well finding Overlords. There really are 4 of them out here in good positions from DragonKnight to see exactly where the medevacs are going to go if there are drops. But unfortunately, Korvin doesn't seem to have a good idea as to where exactly they are, as they're pretty safe here. No injects at the natural base, no injects at the third base. This might be the undoing of DragonKnight. I like the ideas. I like what DragonKnight is doing here, getting a hive at 9 minutes. That's good. It's just the problem is you're not injecting, which means you don't have larva, which means you can't drone up as much as you want to, which means you can't make an army as fast as you want to. And yeah, I mean, not making any workers at all right now. Sitting at 47 workers to 43 for Korvin. You can't sit. I don't know. I just don't think you can sit at 46 workers forever if you're a Zerg player here in MidRank Madness. Maybe an Into the Void you can pull it off, but not Not there. Some Corruptors in here, flying right over this third base, getting shot at by the missile turrets. And wow, they can use Caustic Spray from out there. Caustic spraying down this third base and then changing their mind as the missile turrets do manage to kind of hit them as they kind of float into range. Marines stutter stepping on in, losing a couple Corruptors there. That's not what you want to see, DragonKnight. Liberators setting up shop, taking down this third base, really locking it down, killing Larva as well. Spore Crawler burrows right underneath them. Korvin, you have to pay attention to this. Korvin, you're going to lose your Liberators. Might lose one anyway. Oh, one last shot does take down the Liberator. Spore Crawler very pleased with itself. These three workers need to get back to work. Need to get back to work here at the third base. Meanwhile, Vikings just sitting behind the main base of DragonKnight, hanging out. I guess they were looking for Overlords and kind of got tired of things. More Hellions moving out for Korvin. Really hasn't attacked with anything but Hellions and Liberators so far. Fourth base coming up for DragonKnight to the bottom left of that natural base. And these Hellions can turn into Hellbats. We've seen the armory. We know they can do it. We saw the transformation earlier. +3/+3 for those melee units for DragonKnight. Really planning on Ultras. I don't know what else he'd be doing, but he doesn't have... Does he have an Ultralisk Cavern? Doesn't have an Ultralisk Cavern. Anyway, Hellbats coming, marching on in. They have +1 attack. These Lings are +2/+2, but I don't think it matters. Hellbats are so good against light units. Yeah, just roasting up those Lings here at the third base. Lings trying to defend, but not going to happen. Banelings, you might need Banelings to make this thing work, but meanwhile, this third base is under complete lockdown. DragonKnight going to lose all of his drones. Might actually lose the hatch as well. What's in production? 23 Banelings in production for DragonKnight, but more Hellions joining the chase and transforming into Hellbats. A Liberator here as well, setting up a Defender Mode circle at a completely wasted third, just gone at this point. Vikings flying around. They do scout this fourth base just as it hatches. The forced hatchery as it explodes there, and the third base is gone. That's it for DragonKnight. He doesn't have any extractors, no hatcheries there either. Vikings do choose to land and try to knock down this hatchery. If no one's going to stop them, then hey, why not? Some Queens marching down across the creep to try to save this fourth base, and they should be able to do so, especially with +2 Carapace. They're just hard to kill. They don't hit really hard, as you can see here, but it is enough to kill the Vikings, especially if they fly into the air. Banelings on top of all the Hellbats, killing all but 5 of them. More Banelings coming in. That's it for all the Hellbats, but one. I thought they were all gone. One Hellbat sneaking into this mineral line at the natural base. Already has 2 kills. Look at this, roasting down Larva. You don't see that every day, but hey, it works for me. The Queens show up and say, get out of my natural base, and the Hellbat explodes. But killing a lot of Larva there. Does it show that on units lost? It doesn't, actually. Totally should, though. Only 7 Larva for DragonKnight right now. Not looking good. 35 to 49 total workers. Korvin doesn't have much of an actual army. I mean, his Marine count is, what, maybe 20? 19? 19 of them. He's got a lot of medevacs. He's got some Liberators and some Hellions, but I mean, at this point, I would recommend getting some Marauders mixed in here. Maybe some Banshees. More and more Marines in production. Korvin is having a hard time spending his money. About 1,600 of each gas and minerals. DragonKnight has about 4,000 minerals in the bank. Can't spend it because, again, that larva count is so low. So low. But looking better on the injects. At least that's good on the 2 bases. This 4th base, or I guess it's now the 3rd since the 3rd is gone. Ultra Pops. Chitinous plating is here too. It's looking bad for the Zerg player. Really bad for the Zerg player. Enough Liberators to set up Defender Mode circles. Liberators help out on this Ultra. There it is. Defender Mode circle is here and boop, gets off the final hit. But there are some Marauders mixed in too. With +2/+2, mind you. Upgrades are good. This base is gone. Totally gone. Ultras trying to do this thing, but by themselves, I just don't think it's going to work. There are some Corruptors in the air, but are there enough? I don't know. Marines trying to come in and save these Liberators in Defender Mode just outside this natural base of DragonKnight. They do chase. Liberators do chase the Corruptors away. Some Vikings might be good here as well, but Corruptors really want to kill these Liberators and not quite able to do it. So both players doing a good job. Being cautious, killing what they can, pushing forward with those Liberator circles. Is Korvin looking very much like Pulse right now. Trying to kill the Corruptors, trying to kill these Queens. Anything that's anti-air is what DragonKnight cannot afford to die to right now. Another Hellion comes on into the natural base. Flees before the Queens and the Ultras can kill them. Ultras chewing up on all this bio. because they're not standing inside the circle. Now they're standing inside the circle. The Liberator is starting to take down the Ultras, but all that bio just gets absolutely eaten up. Eaten for breakfast. The Corruptors moving in here too. Taking down the Liberators. Marines trying to get rid of the Corruptors before all their Liberators are gone. I don't know if they have enough DPS to do it. Corruptors have one armor, one base armor, two base armor. That is what they have, chasing the Corruptors away. Ultras come in and say, stop hurting my friends. Two Liberators getting shots off, though, but more and more Ultras in production for DragonKnight. It's going to be gas is the problem for DragonKnight. Does he have enough gas to keep this production up? And I don't think that he does. Kevin, meanwhile, still having a hard time spending all of his money. It's 51 to 25 total harvesters, taking base. Double expanding a little bit here is Korvin. Taking a 4th and a 5th base at essentially the same time. More Liberators coming in, trying to kill those Corruptors. Walking in range of a Spore Crawler, though, not something you want to do. And Queens, get out of there, Liberator. One explodes. Yep, trying to bait. Yes, trying to bait the Ultras into these Liberator circles of doom. And doing a pretty good job of it so far. This Hellbat has been trying to kill this newly replanted 3rd base of DragonKnight for like 5 minutes now, and it's not having a whole lot of success by himself, unfortunately. Liberators setting up the circles. Marines running away, getting outside of the circle. Get back in the circle. Get back in this. Oh man, everything outside the circle is dying. This is so many Ultras. Finally, one getting roasted to death by this Liberator. Trying to pop out some Corruptors to deal with this, getting roasted before they actually pop out anywhere. Korvin sitting on +2/+2. No interest in going +3/+3 apparently. And yeah, every time the Ultras come into these circles, they just keep getting shot right in the head. How about you, Hellbat? You getting this 3rd base down? Still working on it. 3rd base has been taking more shots. More Hellbats show up to assist. That 3rd base should fall very, very closely, very soon. But the Corruptors taken down a couple of these Liberators, and the Liberators are gone, actually. Get and run away. Get in there, run. Okay. So Korvin gets out of there, does not get killed by the Spore Crawler sitting here at the natural base. DragonKnight immediately replants his natural, but he's bleeding hard right now. Korvin in a pretty good spot. Has a lot of SCVs mining here at the natural base that he really needs to transfer. Maybe up to the 4th or up to the 5th would be fantastic. Not actually doing anything at the 4th here on the bottom left. Single SCV sitting outside enjoying the weather, which is probably freezing because it is the ice landscape. Here comes DragonKnight. It's 60 to 105 total supply. Normally I'd say the Terran player has this, but I don't know. These Ultras are doing pretty well, and I'm not sure what we've got for Liberator count. The answer is nothing. There are 5 Ghosts and 20 Marines for Korvin and 51 SCVs. Steady targeting is used to good effect here in one of these Ultras. That was nice. That was close. The Ultra almost got right on top of these Ghosts. Corruptors trying to kill this base. These Ultras are very low. The Corruptors do get sniped down. Run, Ghosts, run. There are Ultras and Lings chasing you. Come to something that will help. And yes, Marines, Marauders helping against the Lings at least. Now the Ghosts need to use their steady targeting like now. This very second. Do you have enough for steady targeting? Yes. Okay, steady targeting coming up. And one Ultra dies, but they're taking damage. It just cancels it. It cancels the steady targeting. Boo, boo. One Ultra dies to steady targeting. Ultra with 14 kills does retreat here as he recognizes he's the only one left. Marines don't do a lot of damage, but over time, if there's a lot of Marines and one Ultra, eventually the Ultra will die. And it does, but only 2 Ghosts and a Marine survive the encounter just outside the natural base of Korvin. Looks like he's transferred some workers somewhere. Up to the 5th base. That's good. That is excellent. Korvin, spend your money. He's making 3 nukes at a time. What is happening? I saw this. I thought it was a nuke, but no, this is 3. So Korvin, does he have personal cloaking? He does have personal cloaking. There's the cloak. And he's going to nuke this base. It takes more than 1 nuke to kill a hatchery, though. Come on, DragonKnight. Banelings come. Why are you coming into this area? There's going to be a nuke. Get out of here. Run, Banelings. No. One of them ran, and everybody else died. Wow. So that Ghost has 17 kills. 17 is a pretty good number. And they're going to try to finish off this hatch just with their regular Ghost type attack. What are we at here? 32 to 95 total supply. Again, I feel like Korvin is okay, but there are 16 Lings on the way for DragonKnight. I was going to say, unless they're Ultras, I just don't see how the Zerg player is going to come back from this at all. I do not. Creep spread looking okay for DragonKnight, but Creep Tumors also dying as Korvin's flying around trying to kill them and scanning. Yep, scanning, killing more and more of those Creep Tumors. Total Creep Tumors lost is 10, which is not a huge number, but it's pretty darn good. And Korvin doesn't have a huge army. He's got 7 Ghosts, 9 Marines, and 3 nukes in his arsenal. But DragonKnight has even less. I mean, that guy's got 12 Lings. So 12 Lings coming up, and they actually, with the upgrades, +3/+3, clear out these Marines very easily. Wow, that should not have happened for Korvin. Come on, Korvin. You can do this thing. He's making Liberators, good choice. He's making Vikings, good choice. He's making more Hellions, good choice. DragonKnight is successfully mining from his 4th base, which he did not lose. He didn't lose. He got close. He's got some idle drones here sitting at his natural base that he could move up to the 3rd, and he is moving them to the 4th. Instead, here comes the nuke. 2 nukes. Oh no, DragonKnight, run. Okay, so he did see the dot this time. He saw the dot. And there it is. He gets rid of it. Banelings killing the Ghost. Revenge for their dead hatch. But I don't know if it's actually going to be enough here. DragonKnight with his 29 Harvesters replanting that 4th base. Could move some of these drones up to the 3rd, which is not exactly fully saturated right now. But Vikings and Hellions coming up to roast up what is remaining of this worker count for DragonKnight. Lings trying to save the drones and not quite able to save all of them. Oh, saves a good number of them. 3 is a good number, I would say. And what are you working on, Korvin? Spend that money, dude. Spend it. You have Marines, you've got Ghosts, you've got Widow Mines, you got Hellions mixed in as well. All right, so Vikings here for Korvin. Sitting at the 3rd base. I'm not sure. Do you want to land? Ah, no. Ling attack. Ling attack at Korvin's 4th. If DragonKnight wins this game, I don't know what I'm going to say. He's doing way too well at this for my comfort. I mean, it's lower level, so crazy stuff happens. That's why we cast these games. But come on, Korvin. You got this thing. Liberators setting up defender mode circles. Lings are running through those circles. They're fast enough they can get through with like 1 casualty. And this is going to be Korvin's strategy. Korvin's going to nuke everything, including that Spore Crawler, including these drones. Drones, run. Drones, get out. Meanwhile, Lings are going to town on another attempted base taken, and all the drones are gone. 21 drones remaining for our friend DragonKnight. Spore Crawler dies before he can kill these Liberators, but this 6th base for Korvin here on this high ground, just to the left of his natural base. Trying to repair things with mules. Lings are clearing those out. Marines are trying to clear out the Lings. That doesn't happen either. Lings with +3/+3. Do not mess around. Do not mess around. He doesn't have adrenal glands. No, he doesn't have adrenal glands, but nukes coming down on the natural base of DragonKnight. Can he get it? Overseer here, and the nuke's gonna land, killing the Queen. The hatch is down to 1 hit point. And it gets taken down by the Ghost, and that's it. A good game out of DragonKnight. DragonKnight is defeated. Korvin throws out the GG, and Korvin is victorious. Well done, Korvin. Again, it got a little bit scary for you, but you had extra bases, you had more miners, you had a lot of nukes. Man, that was a lot of nukes. And won the game against our Zerg friend, DragonKnight. Even though he had ultras, it got scary for a second there, but that steady targeting is good. Steady targeting, good, as long as the Zerg player doesn't fungal you, as long as he doesn't baneling you. These guys are pretty fantastic, especially here at the lower levels. So, well done by Korvin. I like the Liberator Viking play. Spending your money a little bit better is something I would definitely recommend as far as StarCraft 2 is concerned, StarCraft in general. But hey, it was enough today, so well done indeed. All right, so that's it for me. This has been Falcon Paladin, coming at you with another weekly edition of MidRank Madness. Go ahead and hit that like button. Hit the subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter and Facebook, both at /FalconPaladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself. Let's give a quick shout out to everybody who donated to my Patreon so far. And thank you so much for donating. Nick Riley, Josh Cornelius, Jin, KN, Matt Mermans, Hekon Marcus, Christopher, Alex Coffey, Ben Raboin, 19-Day, Keith Garlow, Michael Wellen, Alexandros Kolonaris, Michael McIntosh, Bo Brissett, Pushpak Eledu, Trevor Smith, Alex Sims, Back Bertie, Sip Kopatada, Plaid, Jan Kodera, and Rajiv Bhatt. Thanks again to everybody who has donated so far. There's a link at the top right if you'd like to go ahead and pledge. Again, just $1 a month would be so appreciated and so welcome on the channel. You can get rewards. You can get t-shirts. I will cast my own games. I'll cast your games. Check me out again on patreon.com/FalconPaladin. Thank you.